I'm on the Kress stand, and Kress over the last few years have always been front and centre of every show they've done, and there's been many. And here we are, right at one of the many entrances to the show, but we are front and centre. And I'm with Tony Macer, who's the sales director of Kress. How was yesterday for you, Tony?
Yesterday was really good. So morning started off incredibly busy. Obviously everyone nipped off to lunch and then came back in the afternoon. But it was really, really good. We got some really good interaction with some good golf courses, dealers and other sports places. But it's been really, really positive so far. A little bit of a trick. So we were giving out a few vouchers for an establishment across the road. So we actually split our team in two. So someone across there and someone here. So people buy from people, right? So
you got the short end. You're in the stand rather than in the bar.
I stayed here because I gave a speech last night. But this afternoon I might be over there. But no, it's been really positive for us, and it's been really good getting to know some people and explaining who we are and what we're about. So it's been good.
And what is it that's been drawing people onto the stand? Is there one or two products or one or two things that have been drawing them on?
I think, to be honest, there's a whole piece, especially with golf courses, with automation coming towards them. If you take last year as an example, it was so wet last year, early doors, and a lot of golf courses I've spoken to weren't even able to get onto some of their bits of grass, turf to cut before Easter because it was so wet. So they're all looking at robots, looking at ways to reduce compaction, reduce mess, ability to cut grass that they don't want to cut anymore. I guess semi-rough and those sort of areas. But it's been a real change, a sea change, I think, in the industry, and not just for the industry, but for us as well, where golf courses are coming towards automation. Everyone knows they need to do it and are trying to explore the best option for them. So that's been a huge draw. And obviously we've got our commercial tools. So the commercial tools is all about going greener, being more sustainable, low halves, zero emissions when you're operating, and actually a much smaller running cost compared to fossil fuels, but with fossil fuel power. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot of interest, but I think the draw initially is robots, and they find out about the tools, and that's been really good.
It's funny with robots. It used to be people were saying, "Oh, we can't have robots; it'll cost people jobs." But now, employment people, good workers are like hen's teeth.
Yes.
So now the robots can fill the gap.
Exactly. We see it almost as a cycle, right? So we got a golf course that we cut our teeth on down in Berkshire as an example. Family-run golf course. It's a pay and play. But he was cutting grass at 10 o'clock at night, and he wanted to go home with his young kids. But he couldn't find someone to ride a mower, so the option in bad weather is to minimum wage, work in a coffee shop, ride a mower, and it's a real struggle. We know that wages are low generally in sports turf, golf courses, etc. But I see a natural evolution where actually greenskeepers can get paid a bit more money, golf courses can afford to retain their staff and give them a bit more, and retain their expertise and some really good staff, and the robots will cut the stuff that no one else wants to cut. So I can see that as a real sea change in the industry.
It's just a case of getting everybody's head round it, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's not designed. We're not saying it's here to replace staff. It's an helpful, it's an additional member of staff, and that's really important.
I think the battery side of thing as well, from a golf course perspective, they're ideally suited because you're not looking for something with 250 miles or 300 miles range. Everything's closer at home. You're probably no more than a mile or 2 miles away from the sheds.
Absolutely. And what it also enables you to do, because there's less than half the noise, it enables you to operate in areas that you couldn't traditionally operate with a petrol product, right? So if you've got a blower running, it's a lot of noise. You can use a battery power blower. Ours are less than half the noise. So it enables you to go around clubhouses and somewhere golf courses that have hotels and things like that. And even with the robotic mowers, we're quite unique because you don't have to have a robot mower with a charging station on a piece of grass. You literally, because you've mapped it already, you can pick it up, move it to one piece, another piece, another piece, another piece, and that keeps control of the box mowing areas. It'll give a nice stripe, and it just gives the ability for the grounds maintenance staff around the hotel, which are normally a separate team, right, to be able to go in a lot earlier, and there's no time restrictions. So it's always cut, there's no noise, and it gives them a lot more time to do other stuff in the day.
I first spoke to Jim, your colleague, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, can't remember, about the 8-minute charge. Yeah. Are your rivals, your competitors, getting closer to that 8 minutes now?
No, not really, to be honest. And that's the fundamental issue of lithium ion, right? So lithium ion, the ion causes the friction when you're charging or when you're using it. So what happens is the ion, using it creates heat, when you're charging it creates heat, and that damages the cells. Because we don't have that issue, we can charge as fast as we like and not damaging cells. No one still has that technology apart from us in the industry, and we've got a global patent on that. But for us, the 8-minute charge is really impressive. But even the mains charge is only 22 minutes for 11 amp hour battery. That's 0 to 100%. But the other messages we're now talking about, as well as the 8-minute charge, are things like, do you know what? Actually, our battery should, in theory, last 4 times the life of somebody else's. And actually, lithium ion is not good. Lithium to mine is not a great thing for the environment. So being a green company, we say 1 person, 2 batteries for 8 years. And we can do complete life cycle of batteries. So we've got a company that we work with who can recycle lithium completely or give it a second life, like a body warmer jacket, whatever. So we're trying to think about every aspect of that. So the whole message is evolving, but a lot of that has to be about ROI, saving money, doing a bit for the environment, low noise, and everything else. So we see it as a complete package. The 8 minutes is brilliant, and it saves a lot of downtime, and so you get more productivity out of the team. So it's a whole number of things to talk about. So we've kind of evolved.
Well, it's always interesting when you come onto the Kress stand, and Tony, you've been very good. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'll let you get back to doing what you do in the stand.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you.